So today, following on the series about the Nurbs, we're going to look today at Loft Nurbs and be giving this a little bit of thought. And I think today we're going to do a quick project. So I was looking at some bits and bobs that would be suitable for using the Loft Nurbs, and being that I've spent a lot of my career visualizing packaging, we're going to do toothpaste. Obviously, you have to use your imagination. You could use this to make bowls, light bulbs, rockets, probably arms, legs, bottles, all manner of things. Anyway, so the way Loft Herbs works essentially is that given two or more shapes, splines in particular, it will try and stretch a skin of polygons over it. That's the way I've always looked at this particular nub. So if we start with a fairly thin rectangle and then simply hold Apple, drag down to duplicate that and move it along a bit, we've got the basis for the beginning of our toothpaste tube. As soon as I start building this, it will make perfect sense. Just select Loft Nurbs, take your two objects, drop them in, and we're rolling, so to speak. So first thing we can identify is that the crimped end of the toothpaste is probably no more than 1 or 2 mil or centimetres. I'm in centimetres. I haven't changed my units in my Cinema 4D, and being lazy, I'm not going to. So this is our crimped end to begin, and then I'm just going to choose a circle and drop that into the hierarchy, move it to the bottom, because Cinema works this out in order. So if we grab the circle, that's an interesting point actually. When you start doing more and more with Loft Nurbs, if you're doing something really complicated, and you accidentally put one of these objects in the right way, Cinema will try and skin them in the order that you've placed them in, so you can end up with some really weird effects. So yeah, they need to be in a similar order. So we're just going to take the circle, set this to ellipse, and then we're going to narrow the Y, so we're starting to get the beginning of a tube, and just simply duplicate that and then drag along, and we're starting to get a nice tube. And the good thing is, because this is like everything always remains editable, so it's very, very nice. And if you put it into Gouraud shading line mode, you can see the polys it's drawing for you. We can go to the loft options and tell it that we want linear interpolation. So it's all looking quite neat. Okay, so let's commence. Aha, there we are, it's a bit neater. And we'll keep that on. As I've mentioned before, I would strongly recommend that you have your journey, your Cinema 4D journey, you have a good play with all of the features. I'm going to show you the top line, but as I say, I'd strongly recommend a good delve into every feature. So we can now go back to turn off ellipse, so that it's perfectly spherical, because when you look at toothpaste tubes, they're generally an ellipse at the beginning. Well, they start off as a rectangle, then an ellipse, and then towards the end they're round. So we're starting to look a bit like a toothpaste tube, which is good. Maybe we could narrow the end bit a little bit. So it's quite nice having that controllability. So we'll just narrow the end a little bit, which I think is probably a little bit more reminiscent of the actual thing. I haven't studied toothpaste tubes in advance. I mean, being a human being, a member of the planet for X amount of years, you have a reasonable idea of what a toothpaste tube looks like. And as I say, this is purely to give you an overview of the power and functionality and flexibility of the Loft Nurbs So if you selected those last three, because if you felt, oh, it's a bit too long, you know, you can go much shorter, you can go much longer. And as I say, it's nice having that editability. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe I didn't like that ellipse that was just tucking it in here, you know, so I'm just pulling that out of the hierarchy. And now I think we've got a nice looking basis for a toothpaste tube. Anyway, so quick trick, if you select a cogwheel, move it to around here, just so we can see, duplicate that, grab another Loft Nurbs and then put the two in there like so, turn up the subdivision, 100 should do, I think. Yeah. And then we can select the cogwheels and we can simply, we want to start reducing, actually let's just, sorry, I'll take that back. Let's initially just scale it down using the scale tool just for speed so that we've got something that's looking a little bit like a cap. So if we grab the end one and then let's just get this around about right by eye. So we want a small inner, and you can adjust the addendum radius down nice and small, and then do the same with the other end. And again, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to go through every single cogwheel preset. There are loads. And as I said in my initial tutorial, we could spend hours going over every single one of these shapes. But, you know, you'd stop watching. There's no fun in that. You can go through, I would urge everybody to go through all of those settings in their spare time. Every object, every setting, because it's a very, it's just a good way to learn. So with those two objects sort of semi-complete, we can select them both, go to objects, say group objects, and it will just put them in one item. Handy to name it. As I said in my earlier tutorial, just good for good housekeeping. And then if you go to a side view, you can grab the object as one and then give it a little tilt like so, and then sit it on the plane that we just added. I added a plane. Obviously, at this stage in the course, I hope that everyone knows precisely what a plane object is. And as per usual, as everyone probably knows, I'm just going to switch on ambient occlusion and hit render. We could make a quick material. We'll go with white for the toothpaste. Surprise, surprise. Let's have a blue lid just for fun. Probably got them mixed up, but anyway, let's see. No, I haven't. We'll stick a blue lid on. And there we have a very quick, simple tube of toothpaste. Now, I'm saving every single one of the tutorials that I'm running for, I'm saving. So we can as the tutorials develop, we'll reapproach this at a later date and get this far more accurate. In my day job, I spend ridiculous amounts of time making sure things are 99.99% accurate. But for the sake of the tutorial and to teach people the the fundamentals of the power of the Loft Nurbs and what can be achieved with the Loft Nurbs, this is more than enough to, you know, if you were building a toothpaste tube for Roblox or a game, it's fine. If you were building it for a big brand company to advertise on e-coms, then we would put a lot more work into it. But as I say, I'll keep this and we can develop that, or maybe use this product in a further tutorial, potentially lighting, HDRI lighting, that kind of thing. Okay, thanks for watching as always. Take care. Bye-bye.